Xbox is doomed. Game Pass has failed. Starfield has flopped. Phil Spencer is dead. Or so PlayStation fanboys are making it out to be. Once again, having a complete overreaction to something that is not that big of a deal, pretending like Xbox is dead for the 20 millionth time this month. So what happened is essentially PlayStation fanboys are celebrating. They're celebrating. They're very happy on Twitter because Xbox is going third party, quote unquote. Now let's actually see what was said. So the CFO of Xbox came out with this statement. Xbox CFO Tim Stewart says their mission is to bring its first-party games and services to every screen. That means smart TVs, that means mobile devices, that means what we would have thought as competitors in the past like PlayStation and Nintendo. Now it sounds like Xbox is going to like spread themselves across all these different platforms. We don't know to what extent yet, but PlayStation fanboys are pretending like this means that the Xbox consoles are not going to be made anymore, right? They're going to be discontinued, and Xbox is just going to be making games for us now, for the PlayStation fans. And they've been making very cringy memes like this, which make no sense, because when you think about it, right? If Xbox Game Pass comes to PlayStation, wouldn't that just make PlayStation part of Xbox's, like, infrastructure and Xbox's, like, I guess, zone of influence? I don't know. Because in order to play the games, you still have to get Game Pass, right? And also, I doubt that Xbox is just gonna completely stop producing hardware. Not only because I'm pretty sure we know that they're making hardware still. Not sure if that is a new Xbox, but they are still making hardware. And something else that I think is very like funny about this is that Jim Ryan, back when he still worked as CEO of PlayStation or CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, stated that the PS5 might be Sony's last console and that they, after the PS5, might go for a similar strategy that Xbox is going for now by putting their games on multiple platforms. And they've already been like experimenting with that by putting their games on PC. So I think it's very funny that when that happened, you didn't hear PlayStation fanboys say anything, dude. They were fucking quiet. And now, if you bring it up, they'll just deny it or say, oh, well, that was Jim Ryan. He doesn't work at Sony anymore, so what he says was irrelevant. While I don't think there's gonna be an end to consoles anytime soon, right? Like, I genuinely believe that there will be a generation of consoles after this, but after that, I don't think so. I think that this generation and the generation after this might be the last, like, real console generations before everybody kind of just switches to putting their shit on as many different platforms as possible because they realize that's what makes the most money. Anyway, MBG, one of the definitely emotionally mature PlayStation fanboys, he's definitely never cried on stream before or rage quit his stream because Sony was doing something he didn't like or Xbox was doing something he didn't like. Anyway, he had an opinion about this because obviously he had an opinion about this. So let's look at a couple of minutes of his like 30-minute long fucking rant about this. I'm not doing the entire thing, but let's just look at a little bit of his opinion on Xbox potentially becoming a third-party publisher.
Listen, based off of everything that I'm witnessing right now, I am convinced, I'm 90% convinced that Xbox is going to become a third-party publisher.
I don't think they're going to be like a third-party publisher. I don't want to criticize MBG too much for this because he just said third-party publisher because that's the first thing that probably came to his mind. But I don't think Xbox will be like what Activision Blizzard or ZeniMax was before them. I think they're more so trying to be a platform but not a console. Maybe they have their console, but I think they're trying to make Game Pass their platform. So for example, Xbox Game Pass might be available on PlayStation, on PS5, but Halo Infinite is not. So the only way to play Halo Infinite on PS5 is to buy Game Pass for PS5. You can't just buy the game. I think that's like their next step, is to make Game Pass their like definitive platform.
I do believe this. I think that, again, if you just look at the signs, they're clear as day, where it's like, well, can Microsoft be a third-party publisher if they're still making consoles?
Yes. What are you, dumb? Like, what do you mean? Can they still be a third-party publisher and still make consoles? It's basically what they've been doing. Like, yes, they have exclusive on their console, but they're like their most big, most popular games that Microsoft owns are on other platforms. Minecraft has been on every platform since it came out. Call of Duty is going to be on every platform. Overwatch will continue to be on multiple platforms. Like, this isn't anything new for them. And yes, they can still make hardware while releasing their games on multiple platforms. That's not such like a crazy idea. Actually, now that I think about it, it's not a new thing for Microsoft to do at all, because when they owned like Banjo-Kazooie, they were still making Banjo-Kazooie games for like the Game Boy Advanced, even though Microsoft owned Banjo-Kazooie. So it's not that new of a thing.
I mean, they could do whatever they could, yes. Like, I know that sounds insane, but they absolutely could. It would be unprecedented. It would be the first of its kind.
No, I don't think it would. I think there's plenty of like Microsoft has been doing this, by the way. Like, they've been releasing ever since. This is the very beginning. They've been releasing IPs that they owned, games from those IPs on other platforms. Like I just said, with Banjo-Kazooie, even with like something else that just came to mind, Viva Pinata. Also, hasn't Valve been doing this too? Like, you can get Valve games on multiple platforms. Like, you can play Half-Life on your Xbox. And Valve also now has the Steam Deck. And you could say that's different, but is it really? Like, Steam is their main platform, right? And they just have hardware now that supports that platform. And like I just said, I think Microsoft is going to try to make Game Pass their main platform. So all they need is hardware to support Game Pass, right? Even though you can still get Game Pass other places. This isn't that new or revolutionary of an idea.
But Microsoft could do that. They could just say, we are becoming a major third-party publisher, and we're still going to produce consoles for. If for some reason you want to buy our console, it's there if you want it. Like, let me ask you, how far away are they from that right now? How far away are the only thing that's stopping them is just, I guess, this idea that the next the next Doom is going to be Xbox only. It's not coming to PlayStation 5.
Like, this is such fanboy like thinking and behavior, like thinking, oh, like exclusives good, right? Exclusives good, and companies do everything for exclusive. I can guarantee you, nobody at Microsoft is thinking, if we get more exclusives, then this will be alright, because they know, you know, I know, that exclusives at this point in time, at the age of like we're living in, the age we're living in, right? The gaming industry right now, exclusives don't make you money. They don't. They might sell consoles, even though most people that buy a console play like Call of Duty and FIFA, right? And not really your exclusives. Everyone knows that putting your games on as many platforms as possible is what makes them money. That's why they keep doing it. That's why Microsoft started putting their games on PC, and that's why when Sony tested out the waters on PC and saw that they made massive fucking profits, immediately started porting all of their games to PC. So stop your fucking pathetic little Sony pony behavior. No one cares about exclusives. This plan that Xbox is going to take of probably trying to make Game Pass their platform and just spreading that across all these different hardware, like they said, like smart TVs, even possibly PlayStation and Nintendo, is going to be far more lucrative. And it is just, I guess, very logically, if you think about it, the next step for the gaming industry to go in.
But why? I mean, really ask yourself that question. But why not? Because I guess the idea is, well, if we don't put this game on PlayStation 5 or the next Nintendo Switch, we're going to force people to go seek out Game Pass. But are you really forcing anybody? I ask this question because it's like, well, let me get this straight. If you release the next Doom as a, like, let's say Microsoft goes third-party publisher, and they announced the next Doom is multi-plat. You can get it on the PS5, you can get it on the next-gen Switch, you can get it on the Xbox, and you can get it through Game Pass. How does Microsoft lose?
They don't, okay? You are correct. You're right, they don't lose if they, make their games multi-platform, put them on more systems. They make more money, in fact, right? And you're also even kind of right by saying that they're not gonna force anybody to get an Xbox just because Doom is exclusive to Xbox, right? Because as we've seen, big exclusives on consoles don't really even force people to buy those consoles. A lot of people just wait for the game to come to PC, or they just say, well, too bad I'm not paying $500 on a console to play that game anymore. But what I do think is very, very funny here, and also a bit hypocritical, is that all the things that you just described as to why essentially Microsoft's old strategy, like Xbox, is obsolete as a console with exclusive games, that concept is obsolete. For all those reasons you just listed, PlayStation is also obsolete. But you'll never hear these people mention that. You'll never hear PlayStation fanboys mention that. They will only talk about how Xbox, in order to survive, needs to become third party and needs to release their games on multiple platforms. Sony needs to do the same thing, dude. Consoles in general are obsolete. What is the point of buying an Xbox or a PlayStation? There is literally no point other than the exclusives. And I guess there are people who buy consoles for the brand, people who buy PS5 because it's a PS5. But if you want the highest specs, the most powerful hardware, you get a PC. If you want the biggest library of games, you get a PC. If you want the cheapest option to buy games, you get a PC. The only company that has some reason for still making consoles is Nintendo, and that's because they do wild, weird, creative shit with their consoles. But besides that, Xbox and PlayStation are both obsolete for a lot of the reasons that my boy MBG just mentioned. It's just that PlayStation fanboys are too dumb to realize that all the arguments they use and all the reasons they use for why Xbox is going to become third party also applies to their console. If PlayStation wants to keep on going and surviving in this industry, they need to go third party in the same way that Microsoft is doing. Because consoles, I swear to God, they're already fucking obsolete, and the second that the name, the only reason people buy them is for the brand or the exclusives, right? But people are realizing you can get those games anywhere, because PlayStation is putting their games on PC now too. So the only reason to buy a PS5 is because it's a PS5 for the brand. Once that wears off, no one's gonna buy the thing anymore. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling now, but you get what I'm saying, right? The hypocrisy here is immense. Or not really hypocrisy, it's more stupidity, failing to realize that the thing you're criticizing Xbox for also 100% applies to PlayStation. Anyway, boys, I think I'm gonna end the video here. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.